Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to She Boss Talk. I am Shantae Arati. I am coming on today to talk about how to spend your PPP money on eligible expenses so that you get 100% loan forgiveness. This is for all of you entrepreneurs and small business owners out there who have already applied for the program, been funded, or you are planning to apply for the program, as there is still the opportunity to do so. But you want to make sure that you are spending the money in such a way that you get it fully forgiven, meaning that it's turning into a grant. And what do we say? Grants are free money for your business. So as you all are coming in, just want to welcome you in. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let me know that you're out there. Let me know where you're hailing from, what your business is. Let me know if you've applied for PPP. I just got finished talking about PPP, and someone didn't even know you could apply for a second draw of PPP money. So you definitely can apply for first and second draw if you are eligible. But again, we want to make sure that you get the free money for your business. So as you're coming on, do give this a thumbs up, like it, show us some love, right? So more people see this video, more people can get the help that they need, because although people are getting this money, they don't often know how to spend the money or what is an eligible expense. So we already know people are having the problems. Do you spend it on personal things, items? No, you spend it on business related expenses. And so we're going to be talking about what those types of business related expenses are. Do subscribe if you have not subscribed already. Just want to give a shout out to all of our followers, all of our subscribers who continually support us and our content. We thank you so much for that. So I'm going to get right into it. Again, we're talking about the Paycheck Protection Program. This is a program administered by the SBA. Many people have been applying for it. We know that the funding ran out, but there's still an opportunity to get funding through the CDFI lenders. These are the community development organizations or lenders, right, that are still lending. There's $8 billion set aside dollars for those that serve the underserved communities or underserved businesses. So if that is you, you still have time to apply. If you're in process, depending on the lender and where you are in the process, you still have an opportunity to get approved, even though the funding has run out, because the SBA is still processing those applications and will continue to do so. And my understanding is through June. So definitely let me know where you are in the process of getting your PPP money, and that will be great. Now, you have your PPP funds. Okay, so you get your funds. What do you do with it, and how do you get forgiveness? So in case you don't know, in order to get full forgiveness, whether you're a solopreneur, right, gig worker, self-employed, or you have employees, you must spend at least 60% on payroll related costs, at least 60% during the covered period, right? You have the covered period, which is 8 weeks to 24 weeks to spend your money. If you missed yesterday's video that was specifically related on how you spend your salary replacement, your owner's compensation for those that don't have employees, or those that do and is your owner's compensation, go back to that video, watch that video too, so you know how to spend it, to again make sure that you get full forgiveness of your loan. So I'm just going to break down the different expenses that you can spend your money on. The number of expenses, or the type, was expanded at the end of 2020 with the bill that was passed in December of 2020. So that allowed you to be able to spend the money on more eligible expenses than you were before. So let's just start with the payroll costs, like I just said. So if you have employees or you're spending it on yourself, it includes all wages, including tips, commissions, bonuses, as well as any employer paid benefits. So if you pay your employees benefits like sick leave, personal leave, those insurance on behalf of your employees, that is all included in payroll related costs. Now, compensation for employees, understand, and yourself as the owner compensation is maxed or capped at $100,000 per year for eligible expenses. So you did that when you did the calculation. So for instance, if you as the owner made 150,000 or your employee made 150,000, you cap that at 100 to do your calculation to determine what your monthly average payroll is, to then determine the calculation for the loan amount based on 2.5 months of working capital or 3.5 months of working capital. So you're going to cap it at that amount. You cannot ask for forgiveness of anything above that when you go back and you apply for forgiveness. So that's another thing we want to note here. It's not automatically forgiven. You actually have to use the money within the covered period, and then you go back to your lender and you request forgiveness of your loan. We know that there's a simpler or very simple application process for those that have been funded $150,000 and under that amount. So the process is super easy. It just depends on if your lender is accepting those applications. They're rolling it out in different phases. So be mindful of that and then apply when you're able to. So those are the payroll related costs. Now there are operational costs. So this includes utilities pertaining to your business, right? Business software, if you have rent payments, if you pay a mortgage, interest, if you pay accounting type services. So these are eligible business operating expenses. Just to want to remind folks that this money is not for your personal expenses. Okay. So I mentioned yesterday, and I'll backtrack on how you can do that with your owner's compensation or your salary replacement. You can do that once it's become your salary replacement. Once you've paid yourself a salary, then you can use the money for whatever you would normally spend your salary on. So if that's bills, if that's food, if that's your personal mortgage on your home or your rent on your home, once you have already allocated and paid yourself that salary, you can do that. But otherwise, as far as the any monies allocated for business operating expenses, it must go towards the business. So those are operating costs. You can also spend it on supplier costs. So these are any costs for cost of goods essential to operating your business is eligible for forgiveness if it is purchased. If the purchase order or contract was in place before the covered period. Purchase orders for perishable goods made before the covered period are also eligible under the program rules and guidelines. If you were one of the businesses that had damage due to any social unrest that happened last year, you can actually use the funds to pay for property damage. So this is for repairs for damages and losses due to looting, specifically related to public disturbances in 2020. Costs are covered by insurance are not eligible. So anything that your insurance company has paid for, or if you've been reimbursed for these costs, it would not be eligible in this instance, but otherwise it would. Okay, so any damage, and we know that there were businesses damaged due to the social unrest last year. So that if it's you, those are eligible expenses. You also have the opportunity to use the funds for worker protection. So this includes any personal protective equipment. We know a lot of businesses have had to invest a lot of money in additional PPE equipment, training. I've seen a lot of businesses outfit their indoor spaces and their outdoor spaces. So those related costs are eligible for this program as well. So equipment, other costs related to health and safety requirements, such as health screenings, installation of barriers, and expansion for outdoor dining. So what I would like to know, have any of you all have you began to spend your PPP funds? And if so, what have you spent the money on? If it's your salary replacement, have you allocated those dollars for your salary replacement? Someone is asking about professional licenses, insurance. Yes, that is an eligible cost. Okay. So again, normal operating expenses. One thing to note is that because people have asked me, can I use PPP money to go now buy a property or buy another business? No, you cannot. So although that's a business expense, if the business expense is not helping you recover from COVID-19, just look at it. Is it helping you recover to back to where you were pre-COVID, or is what you're trying to do to grow your business or to expand your business? This is not a growth and expansion fund. Okay, that's the difference. These are for normal expenses and expenses that are related to COVID. So you cannot use this money to go buy a new building. You cannot use this money to go invest in a new business. That is not what it's for. So again, as a reminder related to the fraud video that I did earlier or last week, I believe I did this video. If you haven't seen it, do go check it out. It's a very important video. I share a lot of information on information about scams and fraud related to these programs. And you may be fraudulent and not necessarily know it. You may have provided inaccurate information, or you may be spending the money on what is not intended for, and then cause yourself to be in a fraud type situation. So you got the money legitimately, but you did not spend it correctly. That could get you in trouble as well. So that's why I felt it was important to come on just to remind you of what you can spend the money on for all of these different programs administered by the SBA. They have rules on what you can spend the funds for. Okay. And so just a reminder, payroll, operational costs, any supplier costs, any property damage due to social unrest in 2020, and your worker protections, any PPE equipment, training, anything related to that, you can spend the money on. So if you have any questions related specifically to expenses, please let me know in the comments. As always, I will follow up after the live and answer any questions that you do have. And also want to remind you as well, it's good to have separate an account, have an account, a bank account specifically where you are managing the fund, the PPP fund, so you're not getting it confused or commingled with other monies. If it's easier for you to track, to have just create another business account, checking account specifically for your PPP money to manage that whole process. So is tracked and it's not with other things, especially if you are a person that don't even have a business account. It's personal. So I talk a lot about avoiding commingling business money with your personal money. So it's so important to get a business account, but for those that don't have it, you need to be extra careful, extra mindful that you're recording your activities as far as how you're spending your money. Even in that regard, you can go get another checking account. You can have a savings account, but if you're going to be spending the money, you definitely want to make sure that you keep record, keep your bank statements that show that when you receive the money, and you can be able to show the transactions of how you're actually spending the money. So it's especially when it is regards to your salary replacement. The video I did yesterday walks you through that entire process. And I walked through exactly how I handle my money. Easy, set it up. And it doesn't matter. The SBA comes back, the IRS comes back and wants to investigate, or I'm audited in some capacity, because that could happen to you, right? It can happen to me. And no, I'm not nervous. I'm not concerned. I'm not scared, because it's just a matter of having your documentation and having an audit trail. Okay. So if you are about your business, you have everything organized, there's nothing you should be worried about. Someone said because of fraud, they're scared to spend their money. There's no reason that you should be scared to spend your PPP money. If you know you've been truthful, you provided accurate information, you received your money that is due to you, and you have the need, you need to go ahead and spend it. Just make sure you're spending it again on the right the eligible expenses that is going to get you 100% forgiveness. There's no reason why you shouldn't get 100% forgiveness, especially if you receive under $150,000. So just again, be mindful of how you're spending it, track it just in case. But it's yours to spend. It's forgivable, and then make sure that you follow up, request forgiveness, so then it becomes a grant, money that you do not have to pay back. A reminder that you can get partial forgiveness of this grant, of this forgivable loan as well, if in the event, some people, there's been a situation, again, due to fraud, or someone made an error that they hired, accountant made an error or a mistake, and they've decided that they're just going to either pay it back, or that they're going to just not request forgiveness, and they're going to pay back the loan. That's a decision you can make. The loan terms are still really good terms at 1%. You have a maturity of 5 years, just depending on when you took out the PPP loan. Okay, so we have other videos too on the PPP, again, that can answer your questions. I do look at the different questions, the challenges that are out there, and then decide to come on and do these explainer videos to make it easier for you guys, because I know there's still many businesses struggling. There's still businesses going through the process, and want to make sure that you have the information that you need. Okay, so I hope this has been beneficial for you. Just want to come on really quickly. I hope you all are having a wonderful day and week and achieving all your goals. Continue to push for that. Continue to push to get the money for your business that you deserve. Continue to advocate for yourselves. Be proactive. If you find that something is not fair, you've been waiting a long time, and you were knocked out of the process because the funding ended, you have to be proactive and reach out to your local leaders, reach out to the SBA district office, reach out to your congressional reps, and let them know. That's how we affect change. That's how we're able to improve the process. That's how we'll be able to hopefully get more funding for this program, and all the other things that we need to make it more equitable across the board. Okay, so as always, continue to be the boss with amplified impact. Continue to stay safe and stay in good health. Have a wonderful day.